This podcast is part of the No Phony Podcast Network, the home of independent awesomeness.
Welcome back, everybody. Another edition of On the Road with Jim and Casey. With me, as always, James Morganti.
That's right.
And our guest today, Nick Krotulski.
Howdy.
How you doing, buddy?
Not bad, man. Just enjoying the quarantine.
Yeah, how are you holding up? Are you still working at all? Are you essential?
Yeah, my department's like the only one that still has to show up. Everybody else is working remotely. Or in like my departments, a lot of people are kind of like half furloughed, but they're still kind of getting paid. So it's, I don't know. Honda does a weird thing. They're big about, like, they've never laid off a direct employee globally, like Honda as a company, period. So, yeah, so they're trying really hard to let everybody keep their jobs here.
Wow.
But they're doing some, like, you know, like they're paying like 3/5 of a work week so that they can't claim unemployment, but they're still getting paid time off. But then they got to use vacation time or take unpaid time, and it's all a mess. For me, I got to go in every day because I'm essential. So now my instant messenger for my thing, I put that I'm essentially available.
So,
What's the word?
do you notice any difference down there? Like, are people abiding by the rules and masking up when they go out, social distancing?
Not really. I mean, some people are, but it's not. I don't know. It's more. The roads are a lot more empty. You know, there are a couple of people at work wearing masks. Most of the people are just washing their hands a lot of hand sanitizer. But also, we haven't had much. I mean, we got a lot of confirmed cases in my area, in my county, but it's not like, you know, New York levels or anything like that. So everybody's just pretty much being safe. The parks are still packed. Like, they closed down all the parking for the parks and all the entrances, and people just park on the side of the road very unsafely instead. And everybody's still out there, like in packs, going hunting on their hiking on the trails. I say hiking, walking. It's all flat here. There are slight grades in the hill. It's not.
Nick, where do you live?
I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah,
very nice.
it is nice. You ever been through this part?
I've been on the what's that? The Blue Mountain Road. There's a road that
Blue Ridge Parkway.
Blue Ridge, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of in the mountains.
Yeah,
A lot of up and down.
I drove that once, and you gotta downshift your car, or it'll destroy your brakes. You have to actually downshift into one or whatever, so you don't destroy your brakes going downhill.
I like to see how fast I can go.
True, man.
Jimbo, before we were getting started here, you were telling us you're trying something new.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to keep my just try different things. You know what I mean in life. We're in quarantine. A lot of people are doing new stuff, so I decided I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have I saw this Coors Light here, and I was like, I'm gonna drink beer today. Change it up. No coffee, Case. Possibly leading, like, I think I just get so filled with, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Zestful energy. Zest. Wait, is that fully clean? Yeah. I'm full of zest, man, with coffee, and I think this calms me down better. Just to, one or two beers.
It could be caffeine.
We're getting older, boys. We have to watch what we do.
Speak for yourself.
That's why I'm drinking White Claw.
Ain't no laws, no flaws.
That makes you buzz in a totally different way.
That one wasn't even mine. Oops. It's all right. She won't mind. My neighbors, or my former neighbor, friend of the family, is here as well. She's inside with the wife right now.
I was gonna say, were you out on your porch?
Yeah, this is my man cave.
Nice.
It's I'm not going to show you around because there are too many felonies. But I got a lot of plant life back here too. It's covered porch, so this is like my getaway. Because this is a small townhouse we live in here with my wife and 2 children. So I need my getaway.
Nice.
So, Nick, were you in the Navy or
Air Force, man? Show some respect.
So wait, you don't have glasses then, right? You don't. You have. You have 20/20 vision. You have glasses.
No. I've worn glasses since like 7th grade, something like that. Yeah.
I thought. Who told me this? Who was it?
You're
thought
thinking of pilots, Jimbo.
What?
You're thinking of pilots.
Oh, you have to have 20/20 vision to be a pilot. I thought it was to be in the Air Force.
No. The Air Force would be pretty. If their criteria was that strict, I'll tell you what, because the Air Force is supposed to be the smart branch, and I met some of the dumbest people I've ever known in the Air Force.
Think about that, Jimbo.
Do you ever notice pilots? They have this look in their eyes. It's like this. Like it's a faraway look. Like they're like
1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. Did you notice that in pilots? I noticed that a lot.
Well, a lot of pilots have a God complex to begin with. That's kind of what drives them to, if they're a good pilot, that's part of what drives them to be that. But yeah, because they gotta have an ego. They gotta be confident if you're going to be flying, especially if you're talking about fighter pilots. But also, if you're talking about that kind of stuff, 1,000-yard stare. I don't know if I'd want to see some of the stuff that pilot's seeing. I don't know that I'd want to, be in that cockpit pulling the trigger in situations that he's had to. So I don't know. I might have a 1,000-yard stare too. I'm lucky. I'm an aircraft maintainer. All I did was fix the planes that killed all the people. I didn't have to be there while it happened. But
okay.
But it was still a conflict of interest for me. I was always anti-war, still am essentially. Fundamentally, not anti-violence, just anti-war. So somebody fuck them up, and then take a step back, and then say, okay, you fucking learned your lesson now, right?
Yeah, no, are there people out there that are like, what belief that wants war? Like, who's like, you know what? those Polish people, you know what? Let's go over there. They're always trying to sell you, but what do they do? Sell, I don't know, at the mall. Like, would somebody just want to go over somewhere and just murder everyone? That actual idealism of wanting to rule over people, that's not like an alpha mentality. A true alpha lets people do whatever they want because they know, hey, I'm good. You do what you want. That's like more beta. We need to rule over them because we don't feel secure. You know what I mean?
I disagree. I think alphas are more. I think control is a defining characteristic of an alpha, or desire for control, and some know how to control that desire better than others. Like it's been pointed out to me about somebody or psychoanalyzed me down to one time that we were having a conversation about stick or automatic. My buddy's like, of course you prefer stick shift cars, which I do. He's like, of course you do. I'm like, why? He's like, because you always got to have control over a situation. And, automatic, you're giving too much control to the car. Stick shift, you can control the car better. It's just, it was one of those like, kind of subtle connections that it's not. I'm not saying everybody that drives a stick shift is, it's not like that sort of thing, right? Not like therefore everybody who drives a stick is an alpha, right? But
why do you like driving the stick over automatic?
Well, I never considered it until that conversation took place, and that was while I was over in Korea as a 30-plus-year-old adult, and that's when I kind of like sat back and thought about it. I was like, I always used to say like it's more fun, it's more engaging, like. But I never put it in context of the control aspect, which really does have a lot to do with it. I control when the car shifts, how fast I'm going, and what level of acceleration we're ready for when I want it. Not 5 seconds after the computer detects me fucking jamming my foot down on the gas pedal.
Maybe there's 2 ways of looking at it. Maybe an alpha can and a beta can, because you just said you never looked at it like that.
We're talking about cats.
cars, stick shift.
Oh, okay.
And now you've been psychologically programmed and analyzed before, or analyzed, right? Being in the military.
That's stage 1 of the Air Force.
Right.
They wipe me clean and install a new personality.
Right. And when you start to get like all this psychological conditioning and stuff, and you probably have done a lot of tests, right? You've written, like, you probably had to do psychology exams and whatever. Is there ever a time where they go, like, is there a person? Yeah, there's alpha and beta, but is there like alpha and omega personality? That's what I think I am. Like, I would rather be like beginning and end. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know about omega per se, but there is like a list. I mean, like, I don't know who. I'm not saying I subscribe to any of these theories, but I know that there are psychologists and like there are beliefs out there of like 7 or 8 different personality types. All, you got your alpha, beta, and your other different things. I had never looked too much into them. I'd take them about as, I mean, like, I do believe that there are basically like, a certain number of personalities, whether it's 5 or 7 or 8, like, you all know that guy, right? And then like every now and again, life throws you a Jimbo for unknown reasons. But for the most part, everybody's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I went to high school with that guy. Like it's like that's how I define things. The same thing with just like movie plots. Like there's like 7 movie plots. I'm like, I already saw that movie 13 times. I'm not going to go pay to see it again. It's just different people playing the roles.
And I mean, like we were talking about war. Like, I just feel a true person, whether you're alpha or whatever your personality is. I really think a person that truly knows themselves and is super confident in yourself, and you can take confidence as different ways and whatnot. But like, real people don't want to rule over. Like, real people don't want to rule all over weaker people. Like a real person, like a lion. A lion doesn't just go all around and
rule necessarily. Kind-hearted people don't necessarily. Look, I have no interest in invading another country because I'm happy with the size of my penis, I suppose. Like, I'm not sure what it boils down to, but I
are you happy? Are you settling?
However, I rule the fuck over my household. You better believe it. This is my house. This is my family. This is my domain, and it's my responsibility to protect my family. And so, if I do need to make rules that my kids don't like, or if I do need to have an argument with my wife from time to time in order to accomplish the overall goal of running this household, then that's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that I want to go take my neighbor's house too and tell them how to live their life.
True freedom.
But there are people out there that think that the way that they live their life is the way that everybody ought to. Like, well, I obviously have it figured out because I do it this way, and look how nice it is for me. So everybody should do the same thing that I do, and then those are the people that go to their neighbor's house. Hey, start living your life the way I do, and then ultimately they got fucking
like Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh well, that one perplexes me because I think aren't they the ones that claim to have a finite amount of space?
Yeah, but they want everybody to join. Like, they go door to door and trying to recruit people, but yet only a certain. I think, what is it, like 82 people or something? So it's some weird number.
Yeah, who knows? It's like that however many virgins line. I haven't looked it up myself, so I don't want to speak to the validity of that stuff. I'm no religious scholar, with the exception of I had the same Catholic upbringing as Jimbo here. So we can relate on that front, but
make me go off on the Catholic, on that being in Catholic school.
Hey, at least we missed whatever. I don't know if you noticed, there were people older than us that had priest issues, and I don't know if there was anybody younger than us or not, but at least we didn't have that. I think I'm only speaking for myself.
Yeah, we barely missed it. I mean, Casey, I just was talking about it in the last podcast about how, my mom warned. She was like, Jimmy, you're not allowed to be an altar boy. I wasn't allowed to be. She heard things years ago, even before, like, that was way before they were banging all those kids and I'm just saying they were grabbing, like, these children, grabbing them up. like
Yep.
the butt cheek, like, you know, and she told me not to. Everyone called my mom crazy. You know who didn't get molested and sexually assaulted right up my butthole? Not me. My mom knew.
Also not me though, and I was an altar boy. So
Well, I mean, we were younger.
okay, I will say this: your mom wasn't wrong to be concerned.
Right. Everyone
So
called me.
I can understand it. But here's the I think a lot of stuff wasn't quite so prevalent back then. And I don't know about you, but see, for me, even when I did get in trouble for something, even if I didn't do it, my mom never believed me because I was always such a troublemaker anyway. So even when I was innocent, I would still get blamed. Like a nun would ID me, and like my mom would take like the 85-year-old nun, like saw me from 40 yards away, like taking her word over mine. Well, I'm like, I didn't do whatever I'm accused of, right? But people knew I got in trouble a lot too, so people used to actually like set me up and shit. But then again, my parents left me in such precarious situations. When I look back on it, I spent a lot of one-on-one time with priests in that church, a lot. You know, and I don't know if maybe I'm just lucky. Thank my lucky stars that they're not into boys. Maybe these these priests weren't, or they knew that I was smart enough not to succumb to whatever predation they might think about.
85% of the priests in our diocese or it's like 80% of them they found out just mowing kids down with their, just grabbing
The priest left the priesthood pretty quickly, and my sister always said he was creepy to her.
Who?
When he was like 14, 15. Father Maranki.
Oh, okay.
I used to make my mom laugh so hard. One time I was just sitting next to my mom in church, and I just lean over to her and I go, Father Maranki, dinky dink, Father Maranki do. And from then on, every time she looked at his face, that song would start playing in her head, and she just started laughing in his face, but she could never explain to him why. I love it.
So
but
you guys both went to, when did you guys come to Muhlenberg?
I was in the 6th grade, so that would have been early 90s, like 93, something like that, 92.
How about you, Jimbo?
I came after 8th grade, so I came to Muhlenberg in 9th grade.
Well, back then, like when you hear like when you hear people talking about Catholic school, like back in the 60s and stuff, like nuns would hit them with like rulers and all that stuff.
Yeah, my dad was that guy.
What's that?
My dad was that guy. He had the shit kicked out of him.
Really?
At HGA, yeah.
So was any of that stuff still going on when you guys were in school?
Oh no. It was all licensed
I don't know.
No
Sister
none.
Kathleen. Remember her? Sister Kath, like she was a stickler.
Yeah, I mean she was like religious education. It's not like she didn't like run the school, right? We had a proper principal and all privately hired teachers, and it
Nick,
wasn't like the old days.
You're trained in psychological warfare. You can look in her eyes and you can tell that she's an anti-American. She has hints of anti-American communism in her, and we should have told her back then to go back to Yugoslavia. Oh wait,
is she still alive?
Oh, I don't know.
Then this probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, Nick wasn't trained in the military in 6th grade.
No, but clearly, Casey, everybody that's ever been in the military has been trained in psychological warfare tactics, and we're all Manchurian candidates, really, just waiting for that secret code word to burst the bubble in our head that makes us go. I don't know. What do we? Am I going to go blow something up or something? Maybe I don't know. Everybody worries about what's that?
Have you listened to our previous episodes of this yet?
Not all of them, no.
All right. Because Jimbo was going deep with Cole Freeman about the QAnon or the Q. You know anything about that?
The QAnon, that rings a bell. The conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
I know a lot about a lot of conspiracy theories. I try to give each one of them an equal amount of consideration, but that doesn't mean that I buy into them all.
We'll throw one at Jimbo and see what he has to say about it.
I want to know how Jimbo feels about flat Earth.
I think I have the best. I look at things again. Alpha, Omega, man. That's how you got to think. Like, let everyone believe what they want. So I have some flat Earth friends. Awesome people. Some of the funniest comedy comes from flat Earth people.
Agreed.
My my standpoint is, hey man, if you have science and you think you can out talk, because there's been guys that have more information on how the earth is flat than the normal person has information on why the earth is round.
I don't have
If
information.
if you have that information, that's great, and you believe the earth is flat. Personally, my standpoint is I believe it's round, but I do hope that it's I do, in a way, in a small way, a little bit, I hope it's flat just for the sake of, wow, what? Like, man, it's crazy. You know, they knew it all along, and I wouldn't be that shocked then. You know what I mean? But my personal belief is when I'm explaining things, I always use the ball earth to explain my theories on where we're going in the afterlife and everything. So I want them to believe in flat earth. I want them to believe in round earth. Some people believe it's like it's a 4-dimensional hypercube and that we're in this realm here. And that's cool too. If you have science, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please.
But if you have science that they're like, well, Chip, you know, we have enough science here that we can prove a flat earth. And Chip's like, Hank, I mean, yeah, let's do it. If there's, and they do that, dude. Like, have you ever heard David Weiss talk?
No, I'm only familiar with what's his name, the other like Messiah that they follow.
Oh yeah, the main guy.
Yeah.
The 200 proofs, Eric Dubay.
Eric Dubay, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that thing on Netflix is stupid. Like that's a psyop. Well, right there, the Flat Earth Society, and all the flat earthers actually talk about the psyop of the Flat Earth Society that is just using like the dumbest people that the Earth is flat because all like so there's like blind people that are just doing.
There's some psyop out there, but I believe that it is in the nature of pushing the Flat Earth theory and not pushing back against it as hard as one ought to. Because you talk about well, let me just address a couple of things you said there quick, because you keep talking about the science, right? Videos with like quick equations written down and then erased real quickly and moving on. That's not science. That's called misdirection, right? So what happens is when they try to calculate the curvature of the Earth, right? They say it's like, what, X per meter squared, right? So like the curvature of the Earth is like 3 inches per square mile, right? Mm-hmm. Or something of that nature, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but what they do is rather than saying that it's 3 inches per square mile, which is what it is, any given square mile would have a curvature of approximately 3 inches within that square mile. Rather than that, they say 3 inches per mile squared. And then they keep exponentially squaring the following number to make it look like, if it was on a graph, it would be like a curve. Like it wouldn't be a curve. It would just be like this like inverted slope.
Right.
Because they're using faulty math, but then they quick move on before you have time to think about it. Because most people
that was in
it's not squared. Well, I mean, obviously they know what they're talking about.
That was in the Netflix thing, and Behind the Curve, I think it's called. I believe so.
Right.
Anyway.
I watched the Netflix thing. It was nothing I hadn't seen before, though.
Yeah, and the one guy. I mean, look. I mean, obviously, yeah, they're like. It's not what my belief is, but I still, if you can prove it, and you have, I would say look up David Weiss. He's the one that has, like, he works with a ton of scientists, and these scientists, I don't understand that. Why? I was just talking about this the other on another show.
I haven't even heard the question, but I know the answer.
Why are scientists with PhDs? How can they be a flat earther? Mm-hmm. But then, just like in politics, there's science, there's PhD master level economic guys that are saying it's the greatest economy and the worst economy. How can both people educated with the same system have two totally different beliefs? Just like how can two scientists say the Earth is round and the Earth is flat? And I'm like,
well, because they're being led by their. It's not to say that either one's correct, but they're being led by their preconceived notion. They have a conclusion in search of a method to arrive at that conclusion, and this is what so many media outlets do anymore. A vast majority of them. I follow a lot of libertarian and free press news. So I actually follow a lot of liberal people, even though I'm a libertarian myself. I lean much more conservative, than liberal side of the political aisle. But the sources, I try to follow a lot of sources that consider themselves liberal, but are still sick of the spin that the mainstream media puts on everything, because everything starts with Orange Man bad and then works backwards from there, right? So however they can figure out, and in the case, if you're talking about why are people having two different opinions, well, look at who they work for. Follow the money. It's always about following the money.
Well, that's what I meant.
Funded? Are they getting funded by this school to do this research? Is that school being funded by the government? And who decides? Is it that state's governor? Is it that state's senator? Is it that state's congressperson? Who's given the funding to this group? So imagine if, it's the same thing with climate science, right? The climate change, right? The denying. If it were to come out and say, hey, if all scientists were to come out and be like, hey, you know what? Actually, yes, there is a fluctuation to climate in the world, but our contribution via CO2 is absolutely negligible, and it doesn't really, make a difference of a fucking, a mite on a buffalo, what we're puffing into the atmosphere, especially when taking into consideration volcanoes and all the natural CO2 that's pumped into the environment every single day. Now, if all scientists were to come out and be like, hey, guess what? We actually got nothing to worry about. We can kind of do whatever the fuck we want, and the Earth's not going to blow up. Okay, great. Now what are those people going to do for a living?
Well,
their entire industry is created around, give me money so I can tell you that we're all going to die.
Nick, if you've ever read there's two guys that were part of the Club of Rome in the 1970s. One of them was a guy that I forget his name, and the other one was Alfred. Basically, they were the funders of Enron, which turned into Al Gore becoming in charge of the whole climate change. I forget the two guys' names though, but it happened in 1970.
Becoming incredibly wealthy off of the idea of climate change.
Well, yeah, because Enron and Al Gore, the head of Enron, what was the guy's name? Oh man, I forget his name. They were friends, and so they wanted to tax the air for over 50 years, right. 70 years. They always wanted it to find a way to do that. And I think The Simpsons called it because, remember, there's an episode where she was saying, we can't, she was talking about the Earth and the global warming, and Bart literally goes, Lisa, don't you know, all scientists have already proven that the Earth is going to be here until the sun is going to blow up first and destroy the Earth. If that goes, the Earth goes. And that's all of our, 99.8 of our entire climate is from the sun or something like that. And basically,
very important, yeah.
They've always, they have documents. They always want to find a way to tax the air. But dude, and it's people aren't liberal anymore. I always thought of myself as liberal and conservative at the same time. Again, alpha, omega. Think about both of them. Be both. Because
it just means you're a hypocrite. Well,
hang on. Well, not if you're all-encompassing. Because a true person would be all-encompassing. Yeah, you would pick side to side here and there, but you have the freedom, you have free will to choose what you want, obviously. But liberal now, I don't know if people know this and have studied this. Liberal doesn't mean liberal anymore. Because if I want ketchup, you like ketchup. I like a lot of ketchup on my fries, right? If you pour ketchup liberally on your fries, that means you want it everywhere. Put it liberally on. But now liberally means...
You're using homophones.
What's that?
Or a homonym. That's not the same. You're using the same word to define two different things.
But it is... But
that because it defines one thing doesn't mean it does not define the other. I think you might be talking about a difference between true liberals and leftists. The crazed Antifa and the communists.
Well, that's what I mean. No, but the majority of them identify as liberal, though.
They call it, yeah, but
that's
even
what I mean.
The Liberal Party, a lot of them kind of denounce them as leftists, an offshoot of.
Right. Well,
they're the radical portion of the Liberal Party.
it's, to me, I mean, I don't see. I mean, you can look at it as a homonym, I guess, but it still means liberal is free to do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And that's what most people agree with. You're allowed to do whatever you want. I do what I
And
want.
that's what liberals claim they want, but they want to give you freedom by telling you to give all your power to the government so they can
Right.
grant you your freedom.
But and then
Freedom isn't free if it has to be legalized. That's from Backwards Libertarian
right.
music group. Very good. Go check them out. Backwards with a Z.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're getting in 2 weeks, Casey. We're getting John McAfee on.
No, you're
heard
not
about that.
involved. You're not involved with that conversation at all. I can't allow that. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! What I would pay for that. I mean, I already pay.
Casey, Jim doesn't.
I know.
Jim,
It's just about 50% of your subscriptions, but
Casey wants Jim to
I
interview.
would love to see if you're going to get John McAfee. Because I went to his Twitter page. How did you get him? Because he said that he's looking for people with 5,000 followers. No offense, bro.
I have. I actually got a hold of him before he posted that,
Okay.
and when he messaged me and he sent me his. Well, I messaged him and I said, "Would you like to be on our podcast?" And he said, "Sure, just email my wife." And he gave me her email address. I emailed her. She gave me like a list of things I needed. We needed at that time it was 1,000 followers, and so like combined we have, we have over 1,000 Twitter followers. I think it was 2,000 at that time.
Oh, okay.
We have.
But you were able to go with the Twitter followers, not the podcast subscriptions.
Yeah, so we have. So that's why I have to run it under the Chicken Duck Saturdays with Chicken Duck thing.
I gotcha.
And yeah, I mean, I'm sorry,
well,
Jimbo,
on
but I can't.
But
That's why we started this show, Jimbo. This is for you to rant and rave about what Jimbo
The
wants
government's
to
going to
talk
kill us
about.
all.
Casey, you want Jim?
All of us veterans are going to turn against the Constitution one day because the government said so. We're going to pick up guns and tell people to stay in your homes because some guy in a green suit said so. I think that's what Jimbo thinks is going to happen.
No. I think Jesus is going to come back before that. But Case,
More likely.
Case, you want Jim, a certain. I mean, Jim is a total liberal. He, which is great. Like I love liberals, but Jim's very left. He loves murdering children in the womb, breaking their when how they break their necks when they pull them out. He stands for all that. I'm like, hey, that's great. If that's what you believe in, that's cool. Not my thing. And McAfee's is a libertarian, which is what I agree with the most. And you don't want me to interview that guy?
See, the thing is, Jim, you can't contain yourself. Nick says something that gets you excited and you cut him off. I can't allow that during the McAfee interview. McAfee needs his own time to rant and rave. He's just like you in the fact that he needs a forum of his own. Like we only need to ask him one or two things, and he'll go for as long as we let him. I can't. You know what I mean? You are just too scatterbrained, man. That's why you need. That's why you need this. Like you see, I haven't really said much. I've been letting you guys go because I don't know. I don't really know a lot of what you're talking about because it doesn't bother me at all. Like
this is what McAfee's going to talk about.
I'm fucking talking here and you're cutting me off. That's what I'm talking about. Depend on John McAfee right now.
I can't even see you because my phone's broken. You know that, okay? How can I see you? You know my phone's broken on this side. I can't even tell when you're talking.
You can hear me, can't you?
Not well, because I have a deconditioner. What are the
dehumidifier?
It's on right now, and I can't hear when you finish. When you start and finish.
I see. You okay, Nick? Do you have the COVID?
Yeah, I apologize. My allergies have discovered a whole new level in this region of the country. It was one of those things that kind of like progressed throughout my 20s. I was in South Dakota throughout most of my Air Force time. And then when I came back to Pennsylvania after that, by no choice of my own. I was still married at the time to my first wife. And when I came back there, I started having allergies. And, you know, it was weird. It was moving from that upper plains climate back into the valley of Reading. And, you know, all that. And then I traveled around a whole bunch, up and down the coast, around the world. And once I landed here, it just started flaring up again. But I mean, like, it's this time of year, all the cars are yellow kind of thing. The town's name is Greensboro. It's not an accident. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's pollen constantly, year round.
Nick, what are your thoughts on COVID-19? Are we?
Oh, it's obviously G5, or what's the internet thing?
5G.
5G. It's obviously 5G.
Well, you know Jimbo's thoughts on that, though, right?
I do not.
It's not actually the 5G causing the COVID. It's that it's actually melting your brain, and it makes you that dumb that you just go out and apparently people just cough and sneeze on you after that, and then you get COVID.
Well, that sounds like a much larger problem, because that would mean that 5G is creating zombies.
What happened when Jesus rose? Oh, we're talking about it on Easter. Jesus rose, and how many other graves rose? Thousands of other graves. Dude, yeah, when Jesus rose, in every ancient text, it said all the other graves rose. Zombies. He's coming back soon, man. But no, the 5G just it just weakens your cells. It weakens your DNA when you have your phone, the 5G phone. It's going to weaken your DNA, making you more susceptible to getting sick. That's the only reason. That's what they were saying.
And why is it 5G? Why wasn't it 1, 2, or 3 or 4? Why is it? What is it about this one?
Because the radiation is getting stronger. You know, have you noticed, like, the signal? It's not like it's a stronger connection, but the radiation levels are more compacted in these things. But
so it's not what kind of a dosage of radiation are you getting per use then?
I'm no brains. I mean, I'm no, what scientist would that be? That would be a cellular brain scientist?
I don't know either. I'm not pretending to have the answers, but the thing is, I'm not going to believe that just because somebody on YouTube said so.
Can I ask you a question?
No, actually, here, I'll pull it up here. The BBC.
I want to ask Jimbo a question.
What's up?
How long have you had the 5G phone? Did you have that? Have you had that for many years now, or? Because I mean, your brain is like.
He can't have a 5G phone. He barely can afford bracelets. I don't.
You think I can afford 5G? Wait.
What is rotting your brain?
I just shared that article to Casey of the BBC. They put it out about 10 years ago about how all cell phones actually when held up to your head for a long time, your actual brain heats up like a few percentages or a few points of degrees. And this is 10, 15 years ago. And they say, yes, they do affect your cells, but not at a level that they say is affecting them. But when 3G and 4G were coming out, they were saying that what was feeding into your body when it's held close to you.
And we were all going to go crazy.
Yeah, so it's heating up. No,
here we are talking 5G.
I think it's something not to totally discredit. I mean, I think if
I'm not discrediting. And honestly, I think there's a kernel of truth in there. I have seen some not very public and not necessarily substantiated, but I have seen some independent reports. There was a particular case in the Philippines that I always remembered, where a young girl, youngest case of breast cancer in the world, a 16-year-old girl, but it just happened to be the breast where she would always keep her cell phone inside her bra. And then I think she didn't even have any legal recourse against the company because they did actually have a disclaimer in the instructions saying avoid prolonged contact directly to the skin. So people thought, yeah, it's in your pocket, you're going to get nut cancer. Maybe, but I have a feeling that the manufacturers kind of thought about that because they probably don't want to go bankrupt in 10, 15 years when all their clients come down with nut cancer. It just doesn't make sense to sell something that's going to make your clients sick.
Can you sue them if you get cancer in your in your
If it
breath.
could be proven, I mean, if it could be proven that they knew that this was a possibility and sold the product anyway, then possibly.
Well, you just said
You
that.
can sue anybody for anything. Whether it would be successful, who the fuck knows?
But you just said that she had no legal recourse over that company because it said in their disclaimer.
Well, that was for direct skin contact. That's not the same thing necessarily as keeping it in your pocket. Because
Right.
there's that layer of, because I don't know, I'm no scientist on this stuff either. But I mean, if the radiation it was given off was that bad, these things would have microwave screens on them. Right? Yeah, we use our microwave every day and nobody's like crying about it. Right? We listen to FM radio every day. That's probably not good for everybody everywhere. I don't know.
Do you stand in front of the microwave a lot, Jimbo?
I was just going to use the microwave allegory. Or no, wait.
Analogy.
$5 word from Jimbo. I'm not sure that fits, but
yeah.
I'm gonna let him.
Do you stand in front of the microwave a lot?
Yeah, I was just gonna. I thought Nick was talking to you.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna use the microwave analogy when Nick said if it's in your pants, that the material.
Those aren't pants.
That if the material is blocking it, what happens in a microwave when you put a cover on top of the precious goods that are trying to be sustained for life?
Right.
And you want them to get heated up. Where you put something on top, it gets hotter. So if your phone's in between your pants and it's in there, it's probably superheating you then.
No, because cotton's a breathable material, not plastic with radiation blasting directly into it.
You know those are women's pants, right?
What?
You know those are women's pants, right?
No, okay, so I got sweatpants on.
Yeah, women's sweatpants.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I realized I can't do?
I'm gonna clear the record right now. I got my jeans and real man sneakers.
Jimbo, you never answered my question.
Sorry, probably my fault.
Jim.
Casey, these are not women's pants. Look, I'll show you. And actually, I'm going to do two things in one here. These are sweatpants, okay? I pull them up.
What was the question?
The question was, do you stand in front of the microwave a lot, Jim?
No.
Did you ever eat paint chips as a child?
No, my mom, I don't do
drugs. You
drugs.
Directly under the power lines.
I wouldn't even know.
I don't remember where you grew up.
Guys,
what street were you on?
When I
like in the elementary days, up in Laureldale. Were you up in Laureldale?
No, I was in Muhlenberg in those days.
Oh, okay. I started in Oak Street when I moved to Pennsylvania, up in Laureldale, right off of Elizabeth Avenue by the Leader Home.
Oh yeah.
Little inside baseball for anybody watching here. Just throw out all sorts of shit that nobody that's not from Reading wouldn't know about.
I remember where it is.
Guys.
The Leader Home, right by the pond.
Yeah.
The pond.
I noticed something about Zoom here. Don't ever put your leg in the background like this. Look how small my leg looks.
That's not Zoom, buddy.
No, you just need to start doing some more calf raises.
Dude, do you think I asked for this?
I think you speak of your chicken legs a lot.
That's gonna be a perfect meme for Kyle to make.
Dude, no, it's if you start going back this way, your body looks. It's like what's it called when I get bigger?
Fisheye camera. That's what the flat earthers love. They think every camera is a fisheye camera.
But it is though, because look my leg.
That's a wide angle. I wouldn't say fisheye. It is kind of wide angle.
Yeah, well, as soon as you go back here, you lose everything. Look.
Yeah.
See, look, if I go like this, look how small my hand looks. See that?
What are you, Trump now? Worried about your hand size?
Well, no, I mean, just in case, do you ever notice how big your arms look in pictures? That's not just me, right?
I don't want to speak for Casey. But as secure adult men in committed relationships, I think that these are things that we don't spend much time thinking about.
Nope.
You know how much time and effort I put into how to make my arms and put use to my hands, so that way,
Yep.
because most
That's
people go
fair.
like this, or they
Yes.
go like this.
Well, it's very Italian of you.
Right. So what I do
Speaking
is
with the hand.
instead of not knowing what to do, I'll do like, oh, I'm just fixing my bracelet. You know, like I'll busy my hands for a picture to make the picture look better. Like to make my hands look more natural. Instead of going,
Oh, you're
doing
trying
like,
to do like the candid shot, like I don't even know my pictures do a thing
right. Yes.
with the model mouth and
Yes. You need when you do that, you need more. It's a little more smile. You don't want total,
find the perfect mate.
not total duck lips. You want half duck. You want smirk. You want smirk. Squint the eyes a little bit so people believe that you're really smirking at them.
Can we go back to the flat Earth?
And dude, that's not me making this up, Casey. I'm not making this up. That's.
I know you really do have small legs. I know. There's nothing to make up about that. So I want to go back to the flat Earth here, quick.
Okay.
Nick, you don't know who that David Weiss is?
Not offhand.
No. He's one of the more. I've listened to him on several podcasts, and he does have a lot of information that it does make you think.
They're
Like,
very good at that. They are very good at that.
but then, like, all you have to do is drive on 70 west towards Denver, and then the Rocky Mountains come out of fucking nowhere, and realize, oh, okay, this isn't a flat fucking Earth.
Well, and here's another thing, Casey, to your point, and I know you and I are probably more fortunate than most, and I can't fault anybody if they don't have the opportunity, but a lot of the people that hold these beliefs are people that have never left their home county.
Right.
These are people that maybe they live at the beach and they look down to the horizon. It's like, oh, I can't see nothing that looks round, so it's not round. Right? Not realizing like the scale of it. They think that they're like a peach on a beach ball. You know what I mean? That they should be able to see a horizon and all do like those old Super Mario World 3D or the Sonic the Hedgehog, the first 3D shit on Sega. They think that, that like we're just on this little ball, this tiny little thing. Like, even if we were on the moon, which is a quarter the size of this planet, we wouldn't be able to necessarily see a curvature on the horizon.
I've been to most states in America, and recently I've hiked the biggest mountain in Big Bend in Texas. And when I looked up across there at the top, I was looking with my eyes, and I saw it. I actually said to myself, it actually looks pretty flat. That's what I said. But I still believe it's round, but it looks flat.
Yeah, that's basically all that flat earthers have. It looks flat. And I mean, some of the other, they try to use the rotation of the Earth as an argument, not understanding how atmosphere works. Right? They use the argument that if you want to go halfway around the world, you ought to be able to just lift up in a helicopter and wait for the world to rotate beneath you and then land. That's how they believe air travel works. Right? And, because we have to get in planes and fly places, the Earth is flat.
Nick, I don't want you to think I'm a flat earther, because I had this conversation with
I don't think you're a flat earther, Jim. I know you. There are many things you are. Don't worry. I'm not going to go sully your name by referring to you as a flat earther.
He's a fucking globetard.
You got plenty of stuff working against you without having to worry about flat Earth.
Right. And when I goes to this, I was having a conversation with this person, and I said, explain to me, this is how you're not going to beat a flat earther in a debate with science, because they have their science and you have your science. But what you can beat them with is this: the vernal equinox of when the egg stands up. You can stand an egg up. That's how you have to beat a flat earther. They need proof.
Oh, okay.
So when obviously,
but claim it's fake.
Huh?
Anything that refutes. This is why people don't bother trying anymore. Anything that refutes anything they have to say, the flat earther will then claim that either footage is faked, or the experiment is faked, or
NASA. NASA's fake. Which NASA is evil organization, but
There's a conversation to be had there, but it's not. Yeah,
They
I
were
don't believe it's an
created
all or
by
nothing situation, but yeah,
Jack Parsons, a Satanist, Werner von Braun, the head Nazi that came up with all of Hitler's occult programs, and L. Ron Hubbard were the creators of NASA. A
yeah,
Satanist, a Nazi, and a Scientologist. They're the ones because they when we felt bad. Remember how we always feel bad for some culture at some point in our society. Back then, we felt, huh?
Speak for yourself.
Well, yeah, right. But they felt bad for the Nazis, and they brought all the Nazis over after World War II because
That's
the
why
Nazis.
they felt bad for them.
Yeah, the refugees.
They felt bad for the people perpetrating the greatest crimes in humanity.
Right. They always they always
feel we should protect them. It had nothing to do with their intellectual property. It had nothing to do with the fact that the first jet engines were invented in Germany while World War II was going on.
Because they're
to do with the fact that they had technology that nobody in this country had fathomed.
Because they're in the occult. That's why all science came from the occult. That's why all science blew up in the 1950s. Because they were in
science blew up.
What's that?
You're saying science blew up? Oh, you mean like became a thing? I thought you were saying like you're like, oh, science.
No. I mean,
gone. How does that happen?
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
You have something in your beard.
Thank you.
You got it.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird.
I tried to chat with you on here and send it so I didn't have to say it out loud, but
I didn't see it, but I don't care.
All right.
Guys, here, Nick, I'll just read it right now for you. Operation Paperclip.
Everybody I know, and I hope I offend them all.
Operation Paperclip is a secret program of the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, largely carried out by special agents of Army, CIC.
Right.
Casey, is that you? I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just. Never mind. Sorry, I keep forgetting about the lag.
Okay. Well, where they took 1,600 Nazis under Werner von Braun and his V2 rocket team. By the way, rockets came from the Nazis because of their occult. They actually would go in these seance rituals. If you read their own books, this isn't like they said this. They got these ideas being in seances. That's where they got the ideas for all their technology. And that's why all the theoretical science and physics and or not the physics, but like those theoretical weird science programs, they came from the Nazis. After we got them here, we brought 1,600, all leaders of the Nazi party, as refugees here. Now, who else do we bring here as refugees? Dude, they always call someone refugees. And I'm like, well, what? Like they were actually feeling bad for them. And they're the ones that started NASA. So how can you trust NASA?
I never said you could.
Not that I'm saying that the Earth is flat, but I can see why they believe it because they lie to you so much, and they're using evil, inherent evil, as and claiming it's genius majesty because look how smart the Germans are with their. But it's all evil and it's all fallen. Even though it looks cool and trendy, in 30 years, it looks like a piece of crap. It's worthless. All their science, after a long time, is a piece of garbage. And that's just going to happen in the next 35 years. We're going to have something new. And then that's going to be the biggest piece of crap ever. Because why? Because it's fallen and it doesn't last. And it doesn't have the love of God in it and the willpower of Jesus. That's why all things that aren't a good tree can't brings forth good fruit. A bad tree brings forth bad fruit.
I'm like kind of half following this. Are you saying that the Nazis started NASA?
The NASA was formed largely using Nazi intelligence. Yes.
Okay.
That's just.
You believe Nick?
That's all declassified. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's me, and I'm not Casey. I'm not making that up. But now that Nick said it, now do you believe it?
Well, now, hang on a second. No. Don't lump everything that you said there in with my opinion.
Believe me, I know.
That's not. Because see, like here's the thing that I feel about. Like I said, I'm into a lot of conspiracies. I try to give each one of them an equal amount of consideration. Because if you don't understand the argument, why people believe what they believe, then you can't argue against it, right? So I look at both sides of the argument. I make up my own mind, right? I try to find as much independent information as I can, as unbiased as possible, and look at all the biased stuff as well to see, is sharing facts and who is using emotion and fear and things of that nature, or breaking into religious rants for unknown reasons. But like so now I'm not. What I don't think is that NASA is some big sham, like shadow arm of the government. But are there hidden compartments within NASA that get an undisclosed amount of federal funding that might be, taking part in some sort of black ops, tippy top secret, tippy top with cherries? But do those? Yeah, I like over the years I've kind of believed that, like, I think that those pockets exist within all of the governmental branches, within all of the arms, especially the bureaucratic unelected stuff. All these people that are appointed. That's the thing. Nobody at NASA is voted to have their job. They're all appointed by whoever's in charge. And then who decides how much? But they still get federal taxpayer money to research whatever the fuck they want. And we're just like, we don't understand the amount of hundreds of billions of dollars. We're just like, whatever, at least it's not $1 trillion. And then they, sure, they're looking at the sky and doing NASA stuff and building space stations and whatever else. But that's not to say that, 100 million go a long way down that dark office, down that dark hall, with those few people. I don't think it's a great big conspiracy, but there's definitely shady shit going on in there.
I definitely agree with you and that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, was it formed by inherent evil and satanic technology? It was. But I'm not saying that everyone that works for them is bad, and there's not like good groups in there, because there's bad underground groups everywhere, and like in every, like there's bad Christians, there's bad Republicans, there's bad Democrats, there's bad Muslims, there's bad Catholics, there's bad Baptists, there's bad Buddhists. There's good people.
Name all the types of people on Earth.
Yeah, I can keep going. Asian, Orientals, like there's bad.
My wife is Asian and Oriental. How dare you?
Well, I thought they were different.
Why would you think that?
Because the Orient.
Are you Italian or are you a Dago?
Well, the Dagos were South.
Oh, my bad. So you're a what?
I'm a Guido.
Oh, Guido, my bad.
Yeah, yeah, we're the Guidos were more like northbound Guido. Yeah. But according to this girl that lived in Jersey, she told me that I'm not a Guido because I don't wear any gold chains. So, and she lived on the Jersey Shore. Okay, so I mean,
But you always do wear a low-cut shirt.
I have to. Okay, I don't like wearing these shirts.
Then don't wear them.
Do you want me to play in bands?
How else is gonna attract a mate, Casey?
Yeah, women need a powerful man. A man that's like confident, and that. Well, okay, this doesn't maybe look powerful, but I have to wear it because I play in a lot of bands. And bands, what they do is they gather together in secret, and they're like, "We're gonna dress like this." It's a little like communism a little bit. They're like, "You better dress like us." Huh. You're not wearing skinny jeans, and like you have to dress like them if you want to be cool and play with them.
Is it really a secret?
It's not a secret. I know plenty of bands that do that.
Yeah,
they don't say it.
Well, coordination.
They don't tell you that they all meet in secret and they tell you how to dress.
I've been there when they talk about it. Hey, what are we wearing tonight? White with black stripes. All right, cool.
Yeah, there's no secret.
But then why'd you ask why am I wearing it?
Levon Helm wrote all about it in his book about how they all went to the same tailor and bought suits.
Then why did you ask me why I'm wearing this?
I said
because everything you said has nothing to do with why you're wearing that shirt right now.
I told you I have these shirts because bands want me to wear them.
Okay.
I look through it. Like I have to look,
There it is. There's the honest answer.
Like you have to, when you're playing in the band,
Because I like to make myself look hard when I look at myself in the phone.
Because, that way, because
Need to adjust my pants. Because check out me in this shirt.
yeah, because just try it. When you wear one of these shirts, okay? Visually,
You think this is Harry?
what?
You think this is Harry?
No. When you wear one of these shirts,
And he said, "Do you think this is Harry?"
no,
This is what I look like, Mr. Perlacki. May he rest in peace.
Oh, did he die?
Oh, isn't he? I thought he was.
I don't know.
Thought I heard that a few years ago.
Oh,
hey guys, we're born to die. You know what I mean? Like, hey, there's something after. With every death comes life.
It's pretty old, 25 years ago.
But no, I wear the. Casey asked me why I wear this. I wear because bands, they want you to dress cool and trendy, and sometimes you have to look cool, and you have to wear purple socks. You have to be all like whatever
Right.
trend. And
So
so
you're not playing in the band,
right?
And you haven't left your house. We're just here. It's just. I mean, I thought we were all hetero fellas here.
No, Nick, he doesn't abide by the social distancing. He was at the market yesterday. He goes to Wawa every day. He's out and about.
I mean, to be honest, so do I. I'm not shying away from the stores. I still going about my daily life as I need to. So, I mean, I'm not being a jerk about it. I'm maintaining my distance and staying behind people in lines. I did have one. I had a purple hair crazy lady get mad at me, and she called me a freak. Literally called me a freak. It took me straight back to middle school. Because who even calls anybody a freak anymore? For any reason, right? So much importance has been placed on individuality that freak is a compliment anymore, right? And this lady carded me. This is one of the reasons I grew this beard, man. I'm so sick of getting carded. I'm 38 years old. I don't think I look good for my age. I'm not flattered when I get carded. I'm annoyed because I look at the cashier and I say, look, if I told you I was 20, would you believe me? Huh? Can I get a student discount here maybe? Huh? You think I'm just trying to sneak in a few fucking Miller Lights with the fucking watermelon? Yeah, this'll throw them off, right? So this lady made me go get my ID, and then whenever I get carded, I had it out in my car, and I went out and got it, but I was using my passport, so it confuses them. And so I brought my passport back in, but she was checking somebody else out. And this was before they hadn't put up all the plastic shit yet, This is the very beginning of things are starting to shut down, right? And I was just looking for toilet paper, and I didn't find any. But so I came back in, and the register next to that one, it's a supermarket, standard supermarket, right? So the register next to it, nobody was there. It was closed. So I just kind of leaned up against that because the lady had turned her light off. I'm like, you're still going to check me out, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, just, after her. I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm sitting there, and I even cracked a joke with the purple hair chick, and she had just a 3M dust mask on, not a medical mask, just a dust mask, right? Not going to help for anything. And I look at her and go, hey, if I told you I was 20, would you believe me? And she laughed. And I go, yeah, that's what most people say. All right. And I look back at the cashier, you're making me fucking stand here and wait, you bitch. Right. And then the chick was done checking out, or they were done scanning. And I was set back a little bit. There was room for her to get by me, but she just goes, would you mind moving at least 6 feet away, please? I'm like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, can you just social distance and get at least 6 feet away from me, please? I'm just sitting there. I'm like, are you afraid I'm going to cough on you? And she's like, just get away from me, you freak. I'm like, I'm a freak. I'm living my life. You're in Food Lion wearing a dust mask, and I'm a freak.
She said that?
Yeah. And then I slowly walked around the register and got in line behind her. Some people's kids, man. I'll tell you what.
How old was this woman? Older?
She was in my age bracket, give or take 5 years.
She's probably been brain damaged by some sort of fluoride in the water or some glyphosates and GMOs where her immune system's weak, and she might have a problem with just like is scared because she probably gets sick a lot. She's not as strong. Not because she's a woman. I'm just saying like her immune system isn't.
Right. Hey, when did you switch to non-fluorinated water?
They have those Brita things, and
No, Brita doesn't take out fluoride.
well, I mean, if you eat enough nanosilver and
Oh, you eat that?
iodine. What?
You eat that?
Nanosilver?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Iodine, CoQ10. I take. But Nick, this is why everyone always tells me, Jim, why is your brain so big? Or like, how do you know this stuff?
I've never heard anybody say that.
Well, I forget what word terminology they actually use. There's something about how do I know about all this stuff? And I was like, it's because I eat red meat. Okay, I take these supplements that you don't really get anymore. It keeps your immune system strong. I haven't taken them for a while, but I literally started again about 2 weeks ago. I was off them for maybe about like 3 months, 4 months.
I just got an alert that it says Trump might fire Dr. Fauci.
Dude, they wanted him to for the whole time because he's part of the WHO, which is owned by Bill Gates, who made the corona. He literally owns a
Is
patent.
Fauci part of the WHO?
Yeah, Bill Gates funds the WHO. That's why.
No. Fauci.
Fauci, yes.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I've been kind of tuning out of it because the politics for me gets repetitious. when you follow the true media that reports on the crooked media, a pattern develops and you find yourself in Groundhog Day. That basically turns into, if you want to know what the Democratic Party is up to, look at what CNN and MSNBC are accusing Republicans of. If you want to know what kind of censorship is going on those channels, see what censorship they accuse Fox of.
Dude, that's what you're supposed to.
Literally do the thing that they are accusing Trump and his ilk of doing all the time, every time. Verified.
Who do you go to for your news, Nick? Like who do you trust as a good news, reputable news source?
Well, there are a couple of openly conservative programs that I listen to. It's the Ben Shapiro show and Andrew Klavan, and they're both part of the same network that is owned by Ben Shapiro. He is a very conservative Orthodox Jew, so Orthodox not to be confused with Hasidic. So he's not like a silly curls guy, but he does wear I think you call it a kippah, yarmulke, but he wears one constantly, kind of thing. You recognize, each kosher, that sort of thing, right? Strict Jew.
Yeah.
Got a strict Jew wife and some strict Jew kids. And I'm not, I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff when it comes to foreign policy. I think he's much more of a warmonger. But I also think that he's trying to prepare himself for political office. He keeps saying that he wouldn't, but I think he will eventually. Because he's young. He's younger than us. He's like a year or two younger than we are. But he's like Doogie Howser, but law school style. He was like at college when he was like 17 or something like that at Harvard, and he has a Harvard degree in law and all this shit, right? So, so he's like got that political path, right? But I go to him a lot for day-by-day stuff. First, I go to Andrew Klavan, though, because he's much more entertaining. Still, again, openly conservative. Right, so it's no wool over the eyes here, right? But they give you all sides of the story as well. That's where I get all my clips from CNN and MSNBC and CBS and ABC. I hear it on all these shows because they're not afraid to say, "Hey, look what they're saying, and here's why they're wrong." So,
Nick, did you watch Ben Shapiro versus Cenk Uygur from Young Turks?
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I don't understand.
He insulted the audience. His response to everything that he doesn't have an answer for is Google it.
Who? Cenk?
Cenk, yeah. He's got nothing to back up his arguments. He's an emotions guy. All he does is argue for how does it make you feel?
But
he's funded by Soros and gang.
For sure. Oh yeah, they already knew that. And dude, I read. I mean, this is going back. I would go on this one website I mean, yeah, I was on 4chan a lot and like 8chan, all those things, but like I was on Above Top Secret like a long time ago. This is one website I used to go to as a kid and stuff. And I remember, I forget how many years ago it was, but they were talking about this group called the Young Turks. And I believe it was, I don't want to get this wrong. It was before the Crusades hit. It was actually the reason why the Crusades happened. But they were Turkish Islamic Turks that slaughtered all of Armenia, and because they were the Eastern Europe or Western Europe was Christian, they were trying to flee the whole time. They're always going west for some reason, and they slaughtered all the Armenians, and they called themselves the Young Turks. And actually, they plowed their women, and they were coming up. And then the Ottoman Empire obviously came up through Italy, which is why I have dark hair, because Italians originally were blonde hair, blue, green eye, like almost like Greek. They just just grabbed our women because they were probably so hot. They couldn't help themselves. And I mean, big butts running across that area a lot, like the round kind. And like when they probably came up, banged all our women. That's why we have dark hair. And the group that did that in Armenia they called themselves the Young Turks. That was their name. And I think it was like 800 AD, 900-ish, something like that. They were called the Young Turks. And now this show.
They spoke English.
Huh?
It's amazing they spoke English.
But that's what they called themselves. Well, that was the name of it. I don't know if they spoke English, but that was what they called.
Sorry.
And so I'm just saying, like,
what's your fucking point?
Why would you name a show that? If you know what I mean? Why would you name a show? That'd be like me having a show.
Because they probably deny that version of history, and they've probably rewritten it as they were the victims of the Christian Crusades. And which I mean, you could see history being written both ways by both sides. Honestly,
They should call it Whose Story, because it's almost like whose story you want to know.
Right.
Jimbo, I just wanted to say I fact checked you yesterday after editing our last episode. The term dinosaur came into effect in 1842, not 1860.
Sorry, Case. I apologize to the viewers. I'm doing my bit. It's all off. I have the worst memory in the first place. That's why whenever I say a fact, I'm always like, ah. See, sometimes you gotta go like this. It's like,
yeah. And if you gotta make that motion, maybe you should say it's an opinion or a thought as opposed to a fact.
Exactly.
Because just because you believe it doesn't make it a fact.
Well, actually, philosophically, if I state it like this, it was sometime between 1800 and if I say it like this, it's a fact. Sometime between 1800 and 1900, they named dragons dinosaurs.
But you specifically said in 1860 the word dinosaur was invented.
Yes, okay, I take that back. But if I would have said, which I was debating on saying, should I say between these dates or should I give them a date? And I just said the date. But I can twist it a little bit, like Fallen One, and I can say no. If I say 1800, 1900, they did it. That would be 100% fact. Just the way I said the word.
You were fairly close. I'll allow it.
Thanks.
So, Nick, do you have any final remarks here?
Oh, we haven't even started on the moon yet.
Let's get started.
Which part? Nick, we already know that they can't record.
Here's where two conspiracy theories for me converge and separate, right? Because there's a conspiracy that we never went to the moon, right? Yeah. And the reason that conspiracy exists because evidence that a lot of footage was faked. So one theory that had never quite been considered that I kind of looking into other different conspiracy theories, specifically regarding the moon, that point to the moon as a possible artificial satellite as opposed to a natural, body of rock orbiting our planet Not just reputation, but just the size of the set.
Wait, your phone messed up.
So,
Your phone got low again. It's a little better, but it's still like off.
And then I'm going to switch
Oh,
to
you
mobile.
got it. You got it. He might have to call back if he turned his Wi-Fi off.
He's still here.
We're there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, there we go.
All right,
Sorry.
so continue on from there was evidence.
Conspiracy theory that we never went to the moon, right? And then you got this other conspiracy theory that the moon is an artificial satellite,
Right.
and not a real thing. Well, what if both things kind of coexist? What if there was footage faked, just in case? Or maybe they were just preparing ahead to play something on TV, regardless of what happened. Because the start of live streaming from the moon in the 70s, you know, we just had that glitch now, right? And this is supposed to be the height of technology, right? They were live streaming from the moon. It was like a 5-second delay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, questions are raised. But what if we did go there? And maybe not even on the timeline. They may have launched 2 months before they ever actually, did the public launch, right? And maybe they got to the moon and found something that they weren't supposed to find. And it's just like an idea that rumbles through my head, right? That can kind of take in the conspiracy theories without being like, there's no way we went to the moon, man, because Van Allen belt, and whatever, blah blah blah. What if we did go and maybe we weren't supposed to? Why haven't we been back?
Because
what is with all the coincidences about the moon? Why does it just happen to, be 1/400th the size of the sun or something like that, same distance between the Earth and the sun, so that they appear to be the same size? Like, do you really fuck winning the lottery on those odds?
Well, I totally. You've heard of Operation Fishbowl, when they were shooting those missiles straight up into the air. Nick, do you know that?
No.
They were okay. Here, Operation Fishbowl was a series of high-altitude nuclear tests in 1962 that were carried out by the U.S. as a part of the larger Operation Dominic nuclear test program. Hang on. The nuclear tests were planned to be completed during the first half of 1962, which is 7 years before that. It said they were trying to blow a hole through the Van Allen radiation belt. Now, are we trapped in something that they were trying to blow? Like they're nuclear missiles up there, and this is all declassified. So, do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in that God to be?
I mean, not in like a little green men sense, but more so, I'm interested in interdimensional existence.
For sure. Because go ahead.
It's just I'm not quite sure how to define it. I've done a lot of psychedelics, and that's kind of where if you've been down that road, you know what I'm talking about. And
Casey would know.
One thing I'll say about the I like where you're going with the whole theory there about the moon, Nick, but wouldn't people have seen the launch?
Oh, possibly. I mean, no, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, and I thought of that as I was saying it. Even sure, that's a possibility. But what if there is another launch site somewhere in a remote island location that nobody would see, and that launch was just for show, right?
Well,
maybe somebody might think they saw a shooting star one night. Guam's out there.
Yeah.
Just like, who knows what you're not allowed to talk about out there.
And Jimbo, explain why we haven't been back to the moon yet again.
So, what's the astronaut Buzz Aldrin? He's the one that Wasn't he the one that said that there was aliens on the moon? No, Edgar Mitchell said that. And Buzz Aldrin said there's a something on the planet on the moon of Saturn. There's a monolith on the moon, just like in 2001: A Space Odyssey or something. And that's what they said. Well, my thing, Nick, is I think we're in a system, and how they call the solar system. I think we're in a system that's meant only for us. And this system here we're under the control of it. Now the ancients called that Saturn, that they worship Saturn. That's why you have Saturday, Satan, Saturnalia. The Rome worship, that was Christmas with Saturnalia. That's why you have the ring on the finger. That's why they put the halos on the head of anyone that was holy. That was actually pagan, like to put the halo on the head when Jesus was there. And I think the whole point of Jesus is to free us out of the system, which is out of this system that we're under the stars. I think if we get out of this system, we'll be free of the enslavement that we're in with this job and these getting the money and who has all the power and this, that, and the other ruling earthly, worldly, material things when none of that matters. And I personally, my view is that stars are supposedly made so many stars. There's so many stars in the universe that they're made so fast that what if we could have our own kingdom in those stars for each person? Like you could procreate forever and there would always be enough stars for every human. There's more stars than there are humans.
All this comes back to procreation for you.
Hey, Nick, are you
wrapping up with a nice little bow with Jimbo talking about fucking something?
Hey, we all have throbbing biological urges that we just,
How are you handling the quarantine without having relations?
Oh, me?
Yeah, no, your fucking cat.
Well, first of all, Casey, I'm a dog guy. I'm trying not to give in too much to the sins of the flesh. I don't watch porn anymore. I try my hardest not to give in to that. I have some boundaries for myself. I try not to. I don't do drugs. I never got into that. I drink sometimes, but not a lot. I might have this once in a while.
Some will say coffee is a drug.
For sure.
Just scientists.
We always got something going on. But dude, I'm taking this time and it's great. It'd be wonderful to meet that one person that just can take, I have a big load of information and I just want to you ever love just dumping something on somebody, having that good conversation with someone and you're just talking and
Yeah, pretty frequently with my wife.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And how did you meet your wife?
She was a bartender at my favorite bar in South Korea. A buddy of mine, American guy that I worked with, owns this bar with his Korean wife. And they would just every now and again, they would hire a bartender just because they were lazy. Because they were just there hanging out anyway. They'd hire a bartender just so he could play Xbox.
Right.
And, and try to bring in a little bit of business, if you could find a pretty girl. So, yeah, I had my wife one day, and she and I became friends because I was just there every day after work anyway. And, just our friendship progressed. Eventually became a relationship, if you will, But, yeah, she's Filipina. We met in South Korea. She's from the Philippines, but even from the Philippines, she's one of a kind, diamond in the rough. Interesting gal. Nice. So she could take my sarcasm and throw it right back at me from day one. That was, and anybody who's made it this far has understood how my sense of humor works.
Yeah, Filipinos, they're good, man. They have the best. They have good curves. You know what I mean? They always have I'm thinking when I think Filipino girl, because I've met a few, that they're always built so well. You know what I mean? they're just like good looking Asian. You know what I mean? Like they're calf muscles. You know what I mean? Quads, a lot of quadriceps. Glute. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking like I don't know if they what it is in them.
What you're
Yeah.
saying is most Filipino women have nicer legs than you do.
Yeah. Well, I mean
that's a fact.
Right.
Most Filipino men have nicer legs as well. There are a lot of lady boys over there. But yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, all those things, Jimbo. But also, she's nice, and I like her.
Right. Why are there so many lady boys there?
It's just more culturally accepted. It's just more out in the open there. It's not so much confined to like a sub community that like only has one bar. It's just kind of like more ingrained into the overall culture.
Can you tell
from Christmas there? I was there. My first time there. I was there over Christmas, and that's their summertime. So, but there is no real winter where she lives, too close to the equator. And I got there was a celebration under the bridge, and all the town's government was there, the mayor, and and all those people, and I got a seat at the table with the men and the head of the city and all this stuff. I was like a special guest and all. And part of this Christmas festivities was they had a drag show. I was not prepared for a drag show, but there it was. They were like, "Hey, okay, now for the drag show." I'm like, "Really? Like that's just part of Merry Christmas? Here's a bunch of lady boys." Yeah, yeah.
Are they by law ordered to tell you in public that they're like, I know I look like a woman, but I have a big throbbing, Filipino sausage in here. Like, because I think.
I mean, I think you'd have to, if you can't tell, then yeah, ask the question.
Why would that be required by law?
Well, no, by social law.
Okay, it's required by social law that you be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
By looking at them.
At least one striking up a conversation.
Right. And, so you'll tell their voice is deep, you know what I mean?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Or actually, their voice, if it's high, and it sounds like this, it sounds compressed. That's a sign to tell, too. It can be high.
You don't look for an Adam's apple.
Right. Well,
can you do that again? How do they sound? One more time.
You gotta compress your.
Yeah, how was the last time you were at Boracay Island?
No, I wasn't. But there's some weird people in Austin, and which hey, whatever you want to do in your life, man, that's cool. I think on dating sites though, when you're swiping left and looking at people, I think they should say it on there that I look like a girl, but I'm trans. You know what I mean?
You're probably right.
Because you can't tell. Not that I'm saying I've been through this.
I don't know. I don't use those sites.
Right. Oh, do you think I like swiping on these sites?
Yes. You have a technique.
You speak of it much.
Yeah. What would you do, Nick? Okay, you're bored. You're in quarantine. You've taken your ability to not like I don't beat off anymore because I'm trying to be a little holier every day, just a little bit every day. So I stopped stroking it. I might do a couple things here and there in the shower sometimes, but I try not to. But maybe I'll swipe once in a while. See what's out there. I don't even know why.
This has been great.
I don't meet anybody.
I'm sure there was a point when you started the sentence.
Well,
There's
Casey,
never a fucking point, Nick. Ever. There's never a point.
Casey, I don't remember your question.
Exactly.
Oh.
My question was, do you fucking stand in front of the microwave often? Or use 5G? Because your brain is fried. I smoked a lot of pot in my day. I've taken a lot of hallucinogenics in my day. I've tried just about everything except like heroin. And I don't know. I just don't know how your fucking brain works.
I can't believe you don't do psychedelics.
No, Nick.
I'm gonna start. I think again after If we do this 3 times a week, Jesus.
No, just wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be, my friend Brianna's coming on. She's a firecracker.
I'm not gonna,
Yeah, Nick,
say much.
I don't like being on dating sites. I was off them for like 3 years. I got back on it for like, I don't even know why I did. Not with Stripe, but no, I'm not on them. I've used them before. But yeah, I mean, that's how we're going to be. I mean, we're going to be trapped in our homes. We're not allowed to go. They're going to send drones out that yell at you.
Not if Trump fires Fauci.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you don't know who's going to make what laws sometimes because it's end times right now. The world's never been like this. We have never.
It has. You keep saying that, but yes, it has. In 1918, it was 500 million people died. Yeah, it was like this before. You keep saying that.
How is it like this when everything's closed down? They didn't even have bars back then.
Jimbo, I read about it today because I wanted to throw this in your face. I usually don't fucking know about shit, but I read about it today on my fucking Google box. The 1918 swine pandemic, or the fucking Spanish flu, it closed everything and killed 500 million people. This has happened before. You keep saying it hasn't, but it has.
They closed restaurants?
Yeah. Everything. Everything. Yeah, in 1918, Jimbo, they did have restaurants.
And you said you looked at this on Google?
I looked it up, yeah.
Yeah, using Google.
Do you have anything else for us, Nick?
Hey, did you say Google Box?
My smart box.
Smart box.
Yeah.
Things must be going pretty good.
I have one in each room. Yeah.
Very nice.
I can talk to
this
my
has
house.
Been a blast, but I feel the conclusion.
Yeah, we're wrapping up. We've been going for an hour and a half.
We
talked about today.
Hey,
Jimbo said today, should we try to contain the episodes to about a half an hour? We've been gone for an hour and 33 minutes.
All right, one last statement, Case. Nick, I just want to thank you for coming on, man. You're awesome. You have a plethora of knowledge. I love it.
Can't wait to do this again.
Yeah. I love talking with you about this. And another thing, why don't you know more than I do? Why aren't you doing this? Why do you want me to do this? You know more than me. You should be doing this. Why do I have to?
Well, you mean as far as like going on podcasts and spouting off about shit that I'm not fully informed on?
Yes.
Mostly because I have a full-time job as an aircraft engineer and a full-time family that I support and take care of. So my kids actually like me. I'm trying to switch it up from previous generations in my family. So we've been doing well there.
We didn't even talk that Nick's related to the guy from Al's Diamond Cabaret.
Oh, my uncle, yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that another time.
Yeah, we can another time.
It's been fun, brother. I appreciate it.
It's been fun, man. Can't wait to do it again.
Anytime, brother.
All right.
Take care.
See you guys.
Later.
Good boys.